reported that the 9/11 responder bill was signed, and the New York Times had what I thought was kind of an amusing article, particularly for those of us who are fans of Jon Stewart. I suspect Mr. Stewart probably thought it was amusing as well, that Bill Carter, who writes all of these books about the late-night wars, as though somebody cares, and judging by the bestseller list, no one does, compared Mr. Stewart to Edward R. Murrow, which, because of Mr. Stewart's rants about the Republicans who wouldn't support the 9/11 responders bill, which I thought he was right about. But I thought what made the Republicans come around, of course, Bernie's now claiming that they were able to get $3 billion out of the bill so that they would pass it, but whether they would have got that out or not, they were shamed into passing it. But I thought when Shep Smith from Fox News was on Fox News, of course, and he had seen the Jon Stewart show the night before, and so he was talking about it. And he did this spontaneous rap about how shameful it was that the Republicans were dragging their feet, refusing to pass this bill. And I saw him when he did it, and it appeared to be spontaneous. But in my view, the Republicans watching this, they could have endured Jon Stewart ragging on them, and would have, because it happens all the time. But boy, I would be willing to bet when they turn on Fox News with a huge audience that they have, and here's Shep Smith with a huge audience that he has, and they've lost him, then they've lost the fight. Here's Shep Smith.
Last night on Jon Stewart, it was Jon Stewart's last one of the week, and okay, we watch it, whatever. And he's just flat on absolutely right. And it's worth saying, who's going to hold these people's feet to the fire when we're able to put a 52-story building down there so far at Ground Zero? We're able to pay for tax cuts for billionaires who don't need them, and it's not going to stimulate the economy. But we can't give health care to Ground Zero first responders who ran right into the fire, went down there to save people. Do people know what this city was like that day? People were walking over bridges. They were covered in ash. They were running for their lives. They were crying. Their family members were dead. And these people ran to Ground Zero to save people's lives. And we're not going to even give them medicine for the illnesses that they got down there. It's disgusting. It's a national disgrace. It's a shame. And everybody who voted against it should have to stand up and account for himself or herself. Is anybody going to hold him accountable?
I think you just did.
Well, I'm not really in a position to do that. I mean, I think I just kind of went out there and said what the truth is. And I feel like at some point we're going to have to do something for these people. There was no warning label on Ground Zero on 9/11. These substances will kill you. And even if there had been, they'd have gone anyway. They just need a little bit of help. It wasn't a lot of money in the grand scheme of things. We spend a lot more money giving Warren Buffett his income tax refunds than we do doing anything for those people, don't we?
That's Shep Smith, Fox News. Well, that's big time. You tell me about Fox News.
With Chris Wallace.
Yeah. Well, he was just sitting there sucking his thumb.
Well, you had brought that up with Chris Wallace prior to that conversation, and then that following Sunday, Chris Wallace brought it up to several politicians on his program as well.
That's big time, Shep Smith. So all the Lobster Newbergs of the world, those of you running around won't watch Fox News.
Pay attention.
Pay attention. They're not doing that. I didn't see Diane Sawyer doing that. I didn't see that wimp, who, by the way, won't be in the Profiles in Courage book, Brian Williams. I didn't see him or the little rodent over there at CBS doing anything. Did you?
No.
Did you see any of them?
No.
Did they have a word to say about that? Well, who did have a word to say about it?
Shepard.
Shep Smith. So, it's 19 after the hour.